Yo, this is the nigga that died. Nigga that died finding the balance in the second last video. Finding the balance, that's what we at right now. Again, mind your language. You might get a bit half and watch for the cues. So I'm gonna continue reading out life's work test results. I've got 2 more sections of life work test. This section that I'm doing now is quite interesting because now I actually talk about practically in terms of the outcomes. Yes, there was a lot of values and principles and ideas that came out of the test, but this is like about practically what now after the test. What was the point to say, like, I'm trying to set you guys up for what? So I give you all this information, and then what? What are we going to do about it? You're making all these claims, right, that you SIPO is a creation principle and that was used to create life. And then what? What next? So what are we going to do about it? So the proposal here was to apply, to say, hey, look, I've created SIPO. The principle is going to be used to create a platform in which we can be able to do something about what I'm saying. And I want to jump straight into it, right? Let me jump straight into it. Alright, let's just read it. Yeah, it's called the invisible principle. It's, the principle that came out of it, the evidence of what I was saying. It's not quite apparent, but evidence of what I was saying. So to give context here, right, animal life balance. So a famous theoretical physicist called Dr. Mikhail Kakiao, working on string theory and some science fiction Hollywood shows, has been quoted saying that animals such as crocodiles don't in fact have to die. They just get larger with time. He also explained that the only reason why they die is because human activities either starve them to death or they get killed by humans. He also explained that this mechanism of long animal life is maintained by a system which most animals share, where they go through prolonged seasons of feeding, balanced off by prolonged seasons of fasting. The tortoise is a principal example. The question, however, is raised that whether humans were close to finding the key to sustained human life, or otherwise termed by Christians as eternal life. Might laughed at Dr. Mikhail Kakiao's response to the question, which was, nope, no fountain of youth, string theory is the only game in town. I think this is brilliant, dude. I think this is hilarious, because clearly this motherfucker that was speaking here has got a sound mind. This motherfucker is fucking solid, because think about it, why am I laughing at Dr. Mikhail Kakiao? Contrast here to say that this string theory, guys, string theory. So there's this theory about how the universe is together, and all these theories that are unable to be tested, unable to be verified. But he's out there and saying the string theory is the only game in town. So here I am coming along with like SIPO, and like, goddamn, this was used to create life. Let's just take this principle and use it to ensure our lives, niggas. Right. So I laughed at the fact that he was talking about no fountain of youth has been found, and I think it's quite tragic. So this is what it was. That was the build up to the argument that's being made now. So let's go back to it. I was about to tell the motherfucker, whoa, motherfuck that. Tell the motherfucker, whoa, motherfuck that. About to tell the motherfucker, whoa, motherfuck that. Tell the motherfuck that. About to tell the motherfucker, whoa, motherfuck that. Yeah. Tell the motherfuck that. About to tell the motherfucker, whoa, motherfuck that. Tell the motherfucker, whoa, tell the fuck that. Let's jump back into it. I'm gonna read out now. So this is basically a whoa, motherfuck that, moment, right? The human experiential and experimental balance. This is basically the proposal now. Might obviously has other ideas about Mikhail Kakiao's remarks. about the fountain of youth. The question might ask was, do humans understand what is meant by the fountain of youth? If they found it, would humans be able to recognize it? Would it be something that is visible, for example, a tree or a root of a tree or a microorganism? Or would it be an invisible truth, a principle, or an application? Might being mind had to get to the bottom of this question. After some thought, he realized that animals need to follow the natural laws in order to stay alive. Therefore, humans also require a set of natural principles that can ensure prolonged life. This is a principle that Might has coined as the experimental and experiential balance. This means that humans need to have a balance in their thoughts, spiritual incidents, and their words, natural intervention, to ensure prolonged life. This ultimately implies that the mandatory requirement for human prolonged life is human finding the balance between his thoughts and natural life. This requires a human to have the comprehension skills to manage his thought life. And this also requires humans to have the communication skills to ensure the effectiveness of his work. This principle will then be the foundation of human prolonged life. Oh, goddamn, nigga, shit. Goddamn, nigga, shit. Goddamn, that's too dope. That's too dope. If I say so, I'm actually impressed. I'm like, goddamn, this was a 28-year-old out here tripping. Goddamn. And the timing was also quite crazy because I'm gonna jump into it in the last video, but let's go into it. And I think let me make the points, right? Right. So I'm contrasting, motherfucker, woo, yeah? Mikhail Kakel. Animals extend their lives through maintaining a balance between prolonged seasons of feeding and fasting. In contrast to that, motherfucker, woo, right? Human beings can escape mortality by maintaining the balance between their thoughts and their words, actions. Right? Between their spiritual incidents and natural interventions. Right, so let's go back to it. And just tie this up. The mark of the beast, and this is where it gets a bit creepy because the balance between work and relationships. This is where it gets a bit creepy, because now what I'm doing now, and pay attention, guys. Don't get creeped out. What I'm doing now is like saying that if you read the Bible, there are these illustrations or these principles, ideas that pop up, and all that's being done here is like, oh, I see the context of, I see how that principle will play out in our context. It's like seeing how it will be demonstrated. Seeing how the idea that you read about in the Bible is going to be applied, is being applied. And in fact, you know what makes this different to a lot of people that talk about the Bible and revelations and prophetic what. So all these guys talk about it and speculate about what's going to happen and what it probably means. The difference between me and those motherfuckers, right? I'm gonna say motherfuckers, right? Because they're not very useful, man. But is that I am taking actions. So I'm making predictions based on my activities to say, based on what I'm doing, this is what the implication is, and this is what can happen, and this is what's going to happen. Not based on, hey, I just read some book and I'm going to speculate and then make an assumption from a distance. I'm talking about, hey, look, I've created tools. When I look at the tools, oh, this is the principle. I can see it. I can see it playing out. Remember, going back to one of the first videos we did in the series of videos, black magic is about being able to recognize principles. Extract principles, recognize principles when they play out in the game. Right? Impose principles and demonstrate principles. So that's the reason why I'm different to those who make speculations, that I'm out here imposing and demonstrating. And through that process, I know what I can anticipate. So let's not get it twisted. So I'm going to read the last part of this. Right. Might being Might had already developed systems that aid him to comprehend and communicate. He put them together into a comprehensive application that manages all of human activities, keeping in mind that the required keeping in mind the required experimental and experiential balance. So I'm not going to go into this. This is going to be too complicated to describe, but might describe this application as a tree of life, as it would ensure that human beings implement his creative spirit, that the human being implements his creative spirit. This is the principal tool required for sustained life. Might has demonstrates that without a man striking the balance between his thought and natural life, this balance is impossible to strike without the values of love and kindness. Alright, so I'm going to go into this, I'm not going to go into this, but essentially the idea here is that the 666 riddle was solved because at that stage of development, there were 6 communication steps, 6 creative steps, 6 implement steps, 666, that's what's up. And that's what's up. So, not gonna go into it too much, because I know that whenever you just point out 666, people get creeped out. But the idea here is that this would be the platform where every human being would need to plug into and function. You know, and this is why you would understand that, this is a point in time where there would be a war, like, goddamn, plug in. Nobody's allowed to trade without, having access to this platform. So what I want to build is that's been created already, so I'm giving you guys insights, is that the tree of life is now called the creation catalyst that enables the balance between thoughts and actions. So what it does 3 things. You're able to record incidents, this is opportunities to create skill, interventions, track all the interventions that you make in the process of creating skill, and then implement is basically the final step. Once you've created the skill, making the skill accessible to other people. And that's what's dope. And that's what we have now. It's called the creation catalyst. This is the backbone of what's going to be the Zulu social experiment. So the creation catalyst is basically called the mother of all creation, because everything that's created, all skill or all ability to create value, all life, and remember, I think I mentioned in the previous videos that value is the evidence of productivity, where productivity is the evidence of life. So the ability, what's driving all of this is skill. The ability to add value and demonstrate productivity is skill. So this is the tool that would enable human beings to do that and maintain that experiential balance. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Not getting too complicated. So good. Finding the balance. Yeah. Dope.